pain, muscular discomfort, entirely up to you. If you need to stop and have a little stretch, rest, stop and stretch. If you can keep it going for as long as you can. If you're on the mat, lying down, finding your comfortable position, keeping the knees bent, extending the legs away, whatever feels easier for the back and the hips. The arms come down the side, palms turn to face up to the ceiling, letting the shoulders relax, letting the head relax. If I'm seated, see if I can find a comfortable position, but that allows me to create space at the front of the belly. So instead of slouching and compressing, see if I can encourage a little bit more space there to allow the diaphragm to be able to move. So to keep the breath down into the rib cage and into the belly. So focusing on the breath, I'm going to rest the hands onto the side of the rib cage. So think of your fingertips touching in the middle, and then the hands are just kind of like wrapping around the ribs. I'm going to start breathing, and then as you breathe, notice movement. If you're breathing with the belly, so if I'm breathing diaphragmatically through the belly and the rib cage, every time that I inhale, the fingers should be pulling away from each other. As I exhale, they should be drifting towards each other again. If the fingers are not moving, it means that I'm breathing apically. I'm breathing from the top of the chest. So see if I can try and shift the breath down into the belly. So feel the hands and then see if you can breathe in and push them out. And then as I breathe out, I let them drift together again. Noticing if one hand maybe is moving more than the other. And then as the breath is down there, so I can feel that gentle opening and closing of the hands, I'm just going to allow the arms to relax by the side, keeping that breath going. So trying to calm the body, trying to calm the nervous system and the breath. And then using the usual scan to feel the body. Where the body is, how it feels, what's the pressure, how does the pressure feels under my seat bones if I'm laying down, how is the pressure compared between the two shoulders, compare the hips, the position of the legs, the position of the arms, the head, is it centered, is it slightly turned, is it slightly off to the side. And same as usual, I'm not changing anything, I'm just noticing where everything is and how I feel to begin with. Once that I feel a little bit calmer, a little bit more settled, a little bit more relaxed, I'm going to start focusing on the spine. We're going to work from the bottom up, so from the lower back. So I'm going to start off with a little pelvic tilt. So think of the curve into the lumbar spine, that soft curve that goes in. I'm going to reverse that curve. So I'm going to tilt the pelvis back. I'm going to try and flatten, I'm going to try and round the lower back the other way, and then forward back into neutral. So I'm going to tilt and release the tilt. So think of the pelvis as gently rocking forward and back. The ribcage is keeping still, the head is keeping still, the shoulders are keeping still. It's just the lower back that is moving. So see if I can try and mobilize, see if I can try and ease off with some of the tension, some stiffness from back here. If you're lying down, even easier, as I've got the floor to guide me, I'm going to tilt the pelvis, I'm going to press the lower back gently into the mat and then forward back into neutral. So back, pressing gently into the mat and then forward back into neutral. So feeling that gentle rocking forward and back, imagine to have a ball into the center of the belly, I'm going to tilt the pelvis back. I'm going to let the ball roll towards the breastbone and then towards the pubic bone, towards the breastbone, and then towards the pubic bone. This is nice and relaxed, the movement, making sure that the neck is not stiffening, it's not gripping, the chest is not kind of like bracing and tightening. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back, adjusting the hips, releasing the back, and then changing the direction of the movement. And from a little forward and back tilt, I'm going to go for a little hip hitch. So I'm going to hitch the right hip up towards the right side of the rib cage, and then back to center, left hip towards the left. So right to right, left to left. Feeling a little activation into the side of the belly to allow me to create that hitch, to allow me to create that little movement. If I'm laying down, the back of the pelvis should stay flat against the mat. It should just gently shift and drift from side to side. If I'm seated, imagine to be walking your seat bones up and down on the chair. So I'm going to try and pull up on my right, come back, pull up on the left, come down, pull up on the right, come down, pull up on the left. Using the arms to help me create a little bit more stability, a better connection into the side. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and easing back, returning back to the middle, adjusting the hips, and then from the lower back, I'm going to move up into the back of the rib cage. Starting off with a little flexion extension. So allowing the arms to relax down onto the side. I'm going to push the chest forward. I'm going to try and lift the back of the rib cage off the mat if I'm lying down. I'm going to try and push the chest to the front wall if I'm seated. So I'm going to try and extend. And then I'm going to reverse and flex. So I'm going to extend and flex. So I'm going to push the chest forward and then push the rib cage back. Bringing it forward and then taking it back. So see if you can think of a little, almost like a forward and back movement that is encouraging the upper back to kind of like move and change its shape. If you're lying down, you might want to support the head. So as you come up into flexion, I might want to lift my head off the ground to encourage that flexion. And then I'm going to pop the head back down. I'm going to lift into extension and then forward and up into flexion again. So there's a little bit more activation into the front of the belly, making sure that the core sector stays nice and tight so the belly is not suddenly bulging out, it's not doming around it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last one. And releasing back, adjusting the shoulders, releasing the back. There's a little bit of movement of flexion extension. This time I'm going to work in rotation. So reaching the arms straight in front of you, clasping the hands together or keeping the hands apart. I'm going to start swinging the arms from side to side. So rocking from shoulder to shoulder, rotating to the right, rotating to the left. Making sure that the hips are not moving, so it's just the shoulders rolling from side to side. See if I can almost like think of a massage that is going across the middle of the back. And then if I'm seated, exactly exactly the same. I'm just going to swing the arms around as far as I can to one side and then going the other way. Turning the head to follow the arms around. And then each time, almost like get a reference point. So I can see that book on the wall behind me, or the shelf, or the plant on the wall behind me. Same as on the other side. And then each time, see if you can try and go further past the point, to turn a little bit more and a little bit more without forcing. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back, returning the shoulders back to the middle, adjusting the shoulders, adjusting the rib cage, and then I'm going to move into the back of the neck. I'm going to start off with a little extension first, and then I'll be going into a little flexion. I'm going to interlock the fingers, and then I'm going to place the hands around the back of the neck. If I can't get my hands there, my shoulder is too tight, it's too painful, I can't get there, then I'm just going to grab hold of my band or my belt, and then I'm just going to put it around the neck that way. And then with a little traction, I'm just going to use the band to do what my hands should be doing. I'm going to pull them up on the neck, as if I was trying to stretch my neck longer. So I was pulling the skin at the back of the neck, making it a little bit shorter. So I'm going to lengthen through, I'm going to try and look up, and then I'm going to tip the head and then look up, or look back if you're lying down. Maintain that lift to see if you can keep the traction through the arms. So I'm still trying to stretch my neck longer. I don't want it to crush, I don't want it to compress, I want to keep it long, keep it tight. I'm going to maintain that traction. I'm going to keep looking up, keep looking back. I'm going to take a 6 breath here. 3 through the mouth. 2. 1. 3 through the nose. 1. 2. 3. Then I'm going to gradually tuck the chin into the chest. So I'm going to keep the stretch into the back of the neck. I'm going to pull the chin to the chest, squeezing the elbows in, gently pulling them down, and then I'm going to hold my position here. 3 breaths through the mouth. 1, 2, 3. 3 through the nose. 1, 2, 3. Now stay there. Take a deep breath in through the mouth. Turn to the right. Exhale back to the center. Deep breath in through the mouth. Turn to the left. Exhale back to the center. Deep into the mouth. Turn right. Exhale center. In. To the left. Exhale center. In. To the right. Center. In. To the left. Center. And then releasing all the way back. Giving the head a gentle roll, adjusting the shoulders, relaxing the arms. And then from flexion extension, we're going to go into a little rotation for the head. So I'm just going to keep the head resting on the mat. I'm going to turn it to look over the right shoulder, bring it back to the center, turn to look over the left shoulder, and then back to the center again. If you're seated with the corner of your eye, look at the shoulder, making sure that you're not taking the shoulder back with you. So the shoulder stays, the head turns on top. Come back and then turn the other way. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Easing back to the middle. And then I'm going to keep the rotation going, but this time I'm going to try and integrate the cervical, the neck, and the upper back. So I'm going to bring the right hand up, and then I'm going to rest it on top of the left shoulder. With the left hand, I'm going to hook around the elbow, and then imagine to be pulling the skin of the elbow down and around. So I'm going to put a little traction around the back of the arm into the triceps. Then from here, I'm going to rotate the body to the left. So I'm going to pull to the left. And then with the head, I'm going to turn to look around to the right. So I'm going to turn as far as I can. And then hold it here. I'm going to take a 6th breath. 3 through the mouth. 1, 2. See if I can turn the head a little bit more to the right, the body a little bit more to the left. 3. 3 through the nose. 1, 2, 3, and easing back to the center. Adjusting the shoulders. Left hand goes to the right shoulder. Right hand hooks around the elbows and pull a little bit. Put a little bit of a traction into the back of the elbow, into the back of the arm. And then I'm going to start pulling the all of the body to the right, turning the head to the left. So it's a little bit of stretch going around at the back of that left shoulder. 3 breaths through the mouth. 1, 2, 3. Breathe through the nose. 1, 2, 3, and releasing back to the middle. Adjusting the shoulders, adjusting the head. And then I'm going to start getting the upper and the lower body together. I'm still staying with the rotation, but this time I'm going to start moving the legs as well. I'm going to shuffle the feet and the knees a little bit closer together. I'm going to reach the arms in front. And then this time I'm going to turn the body and the head to the right, the legs to the left. I'm going to ease everything back to the middle. And then I'm going to go the other way. The head and the arms to the left, the legs to the right. Back to the middle, and then changing side. Making sure that the movement is balanced above and below. So you're able to move the legs and to move the arms. If you're seated, obviously moving the legs, it's harder as you're sitting on the hips. So what you can do is use your arms to create a little leverage. So I'm going to reach the arms across the legs. I'm going to push the legs away, and then I'm going to turn the opposite way. Then easing back to the center, reach the other way, push the legs across, and then turn the other way, and then coming back. So see, you can create a nice movement through the all of the spine, picturing the spine from the very bottom of the spine, so from above the sacrum all the way up into the neck, rotating one vertebra over the other. 5, 4, 3, 2. Last time. And releasing back, adjusting the hips, adjusting the shoulders, with a little bit more movement into the spine. I'm going to see if I can start bringing the arms and the legs into the movement. We're going to work with a little coordination. So imagine a string that attaches your right hand to your right leg, your left hand to your left leg. I'm going to start pulling the string and puppeting the legs. So I'm going to pull up with my right hand. I want my right leg to move. Then I'm just going to ease back. I'm going to pull with my left hand. I want my left leg to move. And then back. So think of that imaginary string. I pull it with my hand, then release. I pull the other way and release. It doesn't matter if the foot doesn't quite lift off the ground, but see if you can imagine that connection. See if you can picture the front of the hip tensing, closing to encourage the foot to lift off the ground, to encourage that leg to come up. And then working into the shoulder, as far as is comfortable for the shoulder, making sure that I'm not forcing the arm movement to creating tension into the neck or pain in the shoulder. 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing down, relaxing the hips, releasing the arms. I'm going to try again, but this time I'm going to work across the front. So imagine the string to attach to the opposite leg. So from my right hand to my left leg, from my left hand to my right. I'm going to pull the string, the left leg is going to move. I'm going to release, and then I'm going to pull the other way. And then coming back. And just notice the difference. So sometimes lifting the same side, I can get movement going, lifting opposite sides, I can't, or vice versa. Again, see if you can focus on the hip flexing, that hip closing to allow the leg to come up as the arm pulls, and then physically imagine the arm to be pulling up on the leg, and then easing it back, pulling up on the other side, and then easing it back. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release, relaxing the hips, so releasing the shoulders. I'm going to change the direction of the movement. Instead of moving along that sagittal plane, front to back, this time I'm going to try and move to the side. So think of the same. So I'm going to put back the string from my right hand to my right leg, from my left hand to the left leg. With the right arm, I'm going to open out to the right, and then with the leg, I'm going to follow to the right. Then I'm going to squeeze everything back to the center, and then with the left, I'm going to open to the left, and then squeezing back to center. So again, imagine with that string to be pulling out on the leg, and then pulling back in again, and then pulling out on the other, and then pull it back in again. So this time the foot is staying on the floor, whether you're sitting or lying down. I'm just trying to move the arm and the leg in sync, going in the same direction, opening and closing. If you're lying down on the back, see if you can keep your pelvis stable, so making sure that the hips are not rolling to the side, The hips are staying nice and flat, they're staying still. It's just the leg moving into the hip socket. So a little bit more work going through the inner thigh, the inside of the leg, the front of the chest, the front and the side of the belly. 6. Find a breath that works for you, making sure that you're breathing, not holding the breath. 7. 8. Every so often think of the neck. Am I stiffening through the neck? Am I clenching the jaw? Can I relax the jaw? Can I relax the face? Can I relax the neck? 9. 1 more time on each side. And releasing back, relaxing the hips, releasing the legs. And then I'm going to change the combination. Same as I did for the front to back, I'm going to this time open opposite arm and leg together. So I'm going to let the arms come to the front, and then I'm going to start opening the right arm to the right, that left leg to the left. I'm going to bring them back in. And then other side, left arm, right leg, open. And close. And then swapping sides. So this time, imagine to be holding like on an elastic band. So I'm going to stretch the band out to open. And then I'm just going to let the band recoil to pull everything back. I'm going to stretch it out to open. And then I'm going to let it recoil to come back. So think of almost like a spring in the middle. So I'm going to put tension into the spring, and then I'm just going to let it spring back. I'm going to put tension the other way, and then let it spring back. 5. 'Same as I did for the front to back. Noticing difference between one side and the other. I might find that this movement somehow feels easier. For the other movement, when the arms and the legs were moving in sync, felt easier, felt better. I'm just going to give myself as much time as I need, resting if I need the rest. 3. 2. Last time. And releasing back, releasing the legs, relaxing the shoulders, adjusting the hips. It's a little bit more coordination between the arm and the leg. I'm going to see if I can create just a little bit more movement into the hip joint. So now that is moving a little. See if I can vary that direction. So I'm going to get into circles. I'm going to focus on one leg at a time. So this time, if you want to, you can use the strap or the hands around the back of the leg to give the leg a little bit of a support, a little bit of a guidance as I start moving it. So I'm going to place the band around one leg, it doesn't matter which one. And then imagine with your kneecap to be drawing circles on the wall in front of you if you're seated, on the ceiling above you if you're lying down. So I'm going to start drawing that circle I'm going to start with a little circle and then progressively see if I can make that circle a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger. So feeling the front of the hip, the side of the hip, the inner thigh, all working together, picturing the head of the femur, picturing the top of the leg, just gently turning into the hip socket, just to see if I can create a smooth movement, to see if I can ease off some of the locking, some of the stiffness that might be down into the hip. If you're lying down, using your core, using your center to keep the pelvis nice and still. So imagine your pelvis to be like a bowl and then the leg to be like a spoon. I want to keep the bowl still on the table. I just wanted to turn the spoon into the bowl. I'm going to reverse the direction of the movement, so I'm going to turn the other way. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing down, relaxing the hip, releasing the leg. I'm going to try the same thing to the left side. So if I need a little support, I'm going to feed the band behind the thigh, or I might just hold it with my hands. And then I'm going to start drawing that circle on the ceiling or on the wall in front of me, starting small and then progressively see if I can make that circle a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger. Pelvis is nice and still. Does not rock side to side. See if I can keep stability in the hips. Shoulders and neck are nice and relaxed, making sure that, same as I've been doing so far, I'm not gripping through the neck, I'm not stiffening through the jaw. And into the face. 7, 8, 9, 10. Reversing the circle, going the other way. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing down, relaxing the leg, giving the leg a little walk, a little shake, just a little bit looser into the hip, into the leg, into the groin. I'm going to see if I can focus a little bit more on the shoulders, on the arms. I'm going to, if I'm laying down, I'm going to roll over onto the side, setting yourself into side lines. So the legs are slightly bent. I'm going to use the arm to support the head, or put a little pillow cushion under the head to make sure that the neck is nice and supported. And then I'm just going to focus on the top arm. I'm going to let it come down by the side, turning the palms to face up. I'm going to scoop the arms out, and then I'm going to bring it towards the head. Then I'm going to pull it back, and then try it again. Play with the position of the hand, making sure that it's not creating pinching or grinding into the shoulder, so the shoulder is comfortable with the movement. And then imagine to be working with an elastic band. I'm going to grab hold of the band over the head, and then I'm going to pull down on the band. Then I'm going to release, I'm going to grab it again, and then I'm going to pull down on it. So whether you're down on your side or you're up into sitting, think of creating tension just behind the shoulder down into the side of the rib cage. So I'm going to pull down, trying to activate through the lats, the rectus anterior, all of that area there, making it work to draw the arm back down by the side. 4, 3, 2, last one. And release and giving the shoulder a little bit of a roll. This time, instead of pulling downwards, we're going to pull outwards. So if you're lying down, if your arm is under the head, I want you to move it to the front and then pull it right forward so you're resting on the back of that shoulder. And then I'm going to rest the head on the floor if that feels comfortable, or just again put a towel, something under the head to raise the head up slightly, making sure that the neck doesn't feel strained. And then this time, imagine the band to be in front of you. I'm going to grab hold of the band, and then I'm going to pull it back. Then release, I'm going to grab hold of the band, and then I'm going to pull it back again. So if you're seated, pick a side. I'm going to do the same. Imagine the band on the wall in front of you. I'm going to grab hold of the band, and then I'm going to pull it back. I'm going to let go and then pull it again. Let go and then pull it again. So see if you can focus the tension onto the back of the shoulder. As I pull back, I can feel the back of the shoulder. This time I can feel it a little bit more into the rhomboids, into the traps, so right to the back of the shoulder, the middle of the back. If I'm laying down, see if I can keep the legs together, see if I can keep the knees to the floor, so the movement is coming from my arm and my back working together. 3, 2, last one. And releasing back, giving the shoulder a little bit of a roll, relaxing the shoulder. If you're on your side, I want you to roll over onto your front. And then this time, I'm going to try and work a little bit more into the belly. I'm going to prop myself up onto the forearms. And then pushing down with the arms, I'm going to raise the chest, lift the head, think of scooping the belly up and away from the floor. So I'm going to put my corset on around the middle. I'm going to pull the belly in nice and tight. And then if I can, I'm going to start lifting my hips, coming up onto the knees. If I feel comfortable enough, I can go all the way up onto the toes. So I'm going to come up into a plank. And then I'm just going to stay there for as long as I can. If you're seated, I want the same abdominal control, but this time I'm going to plant my hands onto the side of the chair. I'm going to try and pull up on my right leg, and then I'm going to try and pull up on my left at the same time. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then I'm going to relax, allowing the belly, the shoulders to have a little rest. I'm going to try one more time. So if I'm seated, I'm going to try and pull up on my left leg, pull up on my right, feel the strong tension into the belly, and then hold. If I'm on my front, see if I can pull up on the belly, pull up on the thighs, come up onto the knees or the toes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release it down. Relaxing the belly, releasing the hips. If you're on the mat, I want you to roll over onto the other side. Setting yourself for the pull down, for that lat pull down first. So the head is supported, the legs are together, the knees are bent. I'm going to let the arm come down by the side. I'm going to bring it up and over towards the head. Imagine to be grabbing hold of the band. I'm going to pull the band down, let go, and then start again. Reach for the band, pull it down, and then starting again. So same as before, so if you can think of the tension being into the back of the shoulder, around the side of the rib cage. So I'm going to draw it down, let go, grab hold of it, and then pull it down again. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And release, relaxing the shoulder. If you're on your side, moving the bottom arm. So I'm just going to bring that arm forward. Rest the head onto the floor, or again, supported with a little pillow. And then this time, think of the band attached in front of you. I'm going to grab hold, and then I'm going to pull it back. Release, grab hold of it, and then pull it back. Release and pull back again. So same as on the other side. Think of the tension, the intention being into the back of the shoulder more, into the back of the rib cage more. So I'm going to grab hold, and then I'm going to pull. Grab hold and pull. It's a little rotation. I'm going to turn to follow the arm as it pulls back, making sure that the shoulder is down so the neck doesn't feel as if it's suddenly tensing or stiffening on the side and the back. 5, 4, 3, 2, last one, and releasing back, giving the shoulders a little bit of a roll, releasing the shoulders, relaxing the back. If you're on your side, I want you to slowly push yourself up into sitting, finding your comfortable seated position. So setting the legs wherever it's easier, leaning against the sofa, against the wall, something that is not going to slide away, something that is not going to let you fall. And then same as we did at the beginning, so if we can create space at the front, but this time I'm going to really exaggerate the space. So think of pulling your chin as far away from the breastbone as possible. So I want to lift and lengthen at the front. So I'm going to take a deep breath in. I'm going to start lifting the breastbone forward. I'm going to push it up. I'm going to roll the shoulders back. I'm going to look forward. I'm going to look up. I'm going to look back. And then I'm going to release. I'm going to come forward, allowing the chin to tuck in, the shoulders to come forward. I'm going to fall forward as far as I feel comfortable, and then back up again. Restacking everything back on top. I'm going to lift, lengthen, looking forward, looking up, looking back, and release. Coming forward, the chin drops, the shoulders come forward, the back, as far down as I can. Last time, I'm curling all the way back up, extending through, looking forward, looking up, looking back. And then releasing back to the front. One hand to the belly, one hand to the back,